Hello there, and welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for December 14th. Today's show was solo in South Carolina. Kirk was on his own today. It was from StreamYard. I was the one producing it. I played along. It was a grand old time. But Kirk took the main helm. It was we had some technical difficulties, but we ended up getting the ship steered straight, and the show got up a little late, but it is what it is. I am joined by Madawaska Rob. How's it going, Rob? Thank you so much for joining me.
It's going fantastic. Great.
I was supposed to be joined by Anderson Scott, but turns out that's not a person. So
clear up again. Anderson Scott was the guy that you said shot Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was I thought his last name was Scott for some reason.
You know who it is? Did you look it up?
Yeah, it's oh Jesus Christ.
Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby, that's who it was. Fuck me. But
that's how it connects. That's how it all connects into the mob. Actually, Ruby's connected to the mob. So I'm a big believer that the mob killed him. So
okay. Well, I just know that I mean there was a take today that I said the mob was pro Kennedy. I do know that his dad during the election was like, hey, because JFK was having second thoughts about wanting to be the president, and his dad said, hey, they're still counting votes in Chicago. Let me know if that was a thing.
The money, baby.
So I know the mob was pro Kennedy before his election, but right. I'm sure things switched up, and I'm not the biggest history buff in the whole wide world, but
that's actually what my degree from Salem State's in is history.
Yeah, I wanted to get a minor in history, but it's I never went through with it.
I wanted to be a teacher, so obviously that history degree does fucking nothing for me, absolutely nothing. So that's this was my first time kind of on as a guest producer. I mean, this is the second week in a row where Justin has been co-hosting the Kirk Minahan show on a Monday. It was supposed to be Justin Durand, who was supposed to join us today, but ended up not being able to, which is fine. Well, what were your thoughts? Did you think I blew it? I've seen some comments saying people loved it. I'm seeing some comments saying people needed to shut it off because it was so terrible. I mean, I thought it was insane. I mean, I'm such a sock pop. Everything Kirk does is fucking good. I mean, he can make you into a friggin' interesting character. Not that you're not. I mean, you're very interesting in your own right. Mm-hmm. The sound is what it is. It's probably like what it sounds like now. That's the only thing that sucked. I mean, it was a little on his end. You sounded great. His end was a little faint sometimes, but I thought it was it was entertaining. I mean, it is what it is. He's in a fucking hotel room trying to make the best of it. I personally am so excited for this true crime podcast because I'm such a true crime guy that I can't wait. I can't wait for this shit to come out. So
yeah, big news today announced on the podcast. I know he originally said Q2 of 2021. Mm-hmm. Now he's saying looks like it's going to be coming out in the end of January, early February. So
that's nice.
If you're looking forward to that. That's coming way sooner than thought. Sounds like it's going. From the sounds of it, there's no way there's only going to be one season of this or one series of this. I mean, I think they're going to release 10 episodes. And then they're going to do a deeper dive into because you know how they said everything just keeps branching off into a million different things. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to put aside one of those branches and be like, okay, we're going to get into this at some point in a couple months, and that can be season 2 or that can whatever they want to call it.
Right.
And I'm really excited for it. I mean, it's taken them all across the country. So I do think these shows off location will become more commonplace because I mean if Kirk says it's coming out late January, early February, and he said that he has to go to Texas, California, and all these other places, so expect the travel to pick up quite a bit.
I thought it was pretty funny today when he said he asked if Steve's ever been below the Mason-Dixon line. That is fascinating to me. You think has Steve ever been to Texas? I would love to know where Steve's been. Do you? I mean,
Washington D.C. is below the Mason-Dixon line.
Is it? I have no idea.
Yeah, it is. I saw some people giving me shit about Washington D.C. being it was in the north, but Washington D.C. is below the Mason-Dixon line.
Whatever.
So for everyone out there,
Yeah, I know for a fact that I'm a big Mason Dixon line. Did you know those?
You're a big Mason Dixon line guy.
Yeah. Did you know those guys? The Mason Dixon people actually tried to weigh the world.
Guy. No, Prime Meridian. I'm a big Prime Meridian guy.
No, they tried to weigh the world. Fun fact: Mason Dixon. That was their big thing. Other than creating that line, they tried to weigh the world. At least according to the Wikipedia article I read today. So
fascinating fact about me: I have a history degree and I know nothing about history. Nothing, like absolutely nothing. No dates, nothing. I know nothing.
Yeah, Kirk seems to know his shit when it comes to everything. I mean, he's on top of it. He seems like an expert on the JFK conspiracy shit. I know nothing. I mean, he kind of put me in a box and threw me around, especially with that Anderson Scott shit. I'm trying to find out who Anderson Scott was. It's just, I don't think it's a name. I thought
I was going on the show with a guy with no followers and like his only tweet was asking for nudes. Like,
I just looked up a random ass person.
I was all prepared for the nude question. I was ready to jump in.
That Anderson Scott, but the other big, not really big story, but big piece of content from today was Dan Le Batard took some shots at Kirk over the weekend, and Kirk destroyed him today. I mean, he just put him in a body bag. Fucking Dan Le Batard. If here's my thing, if you're going to call out Kirk, you should at least say Kirk Minahan. Don't say former WEEI personalities or old Boston radio hosts and shit like that. Just come out, and I'd have so much more respect for you if Dan Le Batard just said, Kirk Minahan said this, blah, blah, blah. This is why I don't like it. Kirk Minahan has mental health problems. Just don't hide behind like this ambiguity thing where you're pretending, all these radio hosts in Boston have all this shit going on.
I don't even know if it's that, Justin. I think he thinks he's above. He thinks he's above everybody. He's a raging asshat. Like, I mean, you could just tell by the way he talks. That fucking terrible show. I used to get stuck when I was traveling for work. I used to get stuck listening to him and that fucking idiot Stu Gatz there, the worst radio show ever. And I just think he thinks he's better than everybody, so he doesn't want to dignify him, he doesn't want to say Kirk's name because he thinks he's above him or something. But he was terrible. And I remember when Kirk used to read his ratings there and be like, he got a 0.01 in the ratings. Like one year he was like the last out of 43 shows, he was like 42 in the market. I mean, he's an all-time loser.
I know, like, he's technically a quote unquote national show, but when it comes to sports radio, I feel like you'd rather much be like a local, you'd rather be like a show based in Boston or based in New York or based in Baltimore than this national show that gets broadcast to all the places in the country that don't have a big enough sports market to hold their own local sports radio show.
I mean, he just gets paid loads and loads of money. Like, I'm guessing he gets paid. I'd love to know what his salary is. I bet it's close to $1 million a year.
Was he the one?
More, maybe even more.
Was he the one that just like ESPN tried to fire his producer, so he ended up
paying him or something out of his pocket? Like, he makes like millions of dollars. He probably paid the guy 20 grand. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm not giving him credit before I fucking know what he does. So, but,
no. I mean, just go out and say it. Just say Kirk's name. I mean, people know Kirk's name, so why the fuck won't you say it instead of just saying, Boston radio host, and they're bringing up shit from years and years, and they're talking. What was he talking about? Grady Little from the 2003. How many times do you think anyone during Kirk's run at WEEI was talking about Grady Little? They won like 3 championships after that.
And then I don't even know how it started. Someone didn't recognize Manny Ramirez. Like what? I don't even know. I honestly don't know the backstory on how it started too much, but someone posted a video of not recognizing Manny Ramirez or something.
So there was a video going around of like Manny. It was like at like a sub shop or something like that. And some guy was wearing a Red Sox hat. And so they were recording Manny Ramirez, and Manny Ramirez comes up to the guy and says, "I like your hat." And the guy's like, cool, thanks. And then Manny's like, what the how do you not know it's me, Manny Ramirez? I mean, it's kind of like a dickhole thing. And then,
like, it was 16 years ago. I'm guessing you gained like 50 pounds. You could have cut your dreads. Like I wouldn't recognize. You can't recognize people. I mean, it's hard, especially athletes. I mean, your first thought when you see somebody, you think like, oh, maybe that looks like Manny Ramirez. Your first thought isn't like, oh, that's Manny Ramirez. Like, who gives a fuck? Probably just like the hat too. Guy probably never watched a game of baseball in his life.
Yeah, and just one of these things where Dan Le Batard started going after like, oh, you know, if you're gonna wear a Red Sox hat and be a bro and like Barstool and like what's
like
Simmons and you know, and like all these things, you gotta know who Manny
I
Ramirez
get this
is.
Callaway hat on. Am I supposed to be shooting 2 under and like playing on the fucking PGA?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just a fucking moron, and it's like, why wouldn't you, like, he's literally alienating. He's talking shit about Barstool fans.
Yeah.
While his show is failing. You know, if he's doing a .01 in Boston 5 years ago, he's probably doing way less than that now.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you try to do something? I don't get why these radio personalities don't embrace the Barstool branding and you know bring Jared Carrabis on and do this shit. Other than
Justin, they don't want to quote unquote like bring themselves down. They think that's down a level to them because they're the holier than now friggin' media. Same people like the BBWA, those asshats, the assholes that vote for the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to bring anybody down to their level. They think they're way up here. They think Barstool's down here. They don't even consider Barstool media when in fact Barstool is light years ahead of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they all sit there and they have these terrible takes and I mean, like I like the guys on EEI. I like Ordway and Fourier and Malone. I mean, I grew up listening to Glenn Ordway, but you listen to him now and it's like, man, you sound like it's not 1995 anymore, Glenn. Like your way of thinking and your way of doing sports media is over. And I think they all think that, and they just look so down on Barstool Sports and anybody associated with it.
Yeah, I just think it's great when Kirk gets, because it's not really sporty when he gets into these fights, but like when people call him out for just the stupid shit that happened years ago.
He's the best. He's the best at that. He is the best.
Like, really, Dan Le Batard, you fucking zero. You did a 0.0 in Boston. It's just great to see just Kirk put people in their place, whether it be, you know, Willie Colon or Le Batard or anyone else. I just think it's great when he just calls people out in sports media.
Yeah,
because he could take their job in a second if he wanted to.
Yeah.
What was his thing with Willie Colon? I'm 2 phone calls away.
Oh yeah, 2 phone calls, and then he's like, maybe 1 phone call, maybe 1 phone. No, maybe 1 phone call, maybe 1 phone. Yeah, I love when he tosses the gasoline on the fire better than anybody.
Oh, it's great. But Le Batard's too much of a pussy to say anything back. So it's going to.
But the thing is, he can't compete verbally with Kirk. So like he wouldn't be able to have Kirk on his show. Kirk wouldn't be able to have his show on his show because Le Batard can't verbally compete with him because Kirk would just literally eat his lunch because he's a fucking drip. There's so many drips in this world. You know, we know one's a producer of the show, but that's no big deal. I digress.
I liked the producer of the show today. I thought he was a nice guy.
The producer of the show was excellent today. Today was actually Steve's best show in a while. I think it's like at least the last couple weeks.
Well, I'm a big Steve guy, but everyone another big take was that Andrew Cuomo was credibly accused of sexual assault, which is going to be very, very interesting to see how the media
doesn't report it. They won't report anything. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, the guy's getting fucking awards. He's murdering senior citizens, like still as we speak. He has no idea how he's handling anything. He's doing book tours while people are on pandemics. I mean, I'm not a political guy. I'm right down the middle, just like Kirk. I'd Joe Jorgensen all the way, like 2020. Like, I mean, my vote means nothing because I voted for her, which is fine. But you know, he's just a complete buffoon. And I mean, we saw it with Biden. I mean, I feel like the woman that accused Biden seemed at least a little credible to maybe do some reporting on it. There was nothing done on it. So I think this is just going to fall by the wayside too. It's just the way of the world. I mean, it is what it is. So.
I think it should be required of CNN to put Chris Cuomo aside. He should have nothing. He should not be able to touch this story. He should not have anything to do with this story. And they need to do a full dive into this. Yeah. Otherwise, they lose all credibility when it comes to any of this Me Too shit.
They don't have it anyways. That's the thing. They don't have it. They think they do, but they don't. None of them have it. Any of the channels. It's disgusting. You can't turn on the news anymore. Either way, it's just fucking. It's a circus, which is it's entertaining because it's.
I think Kirk's prediction that this is just going to get swept under the rug, even more so than the Tara Reid stuff, is completely true.
Right. People
in this country either despise Andrew Cuomo because they know what he's done, or they hold him up as some pedestal who saved the country from coronavirus. because New York was so great in the first week or so, which they weren't. I don't understand. Remember, was it like in February or something? Everyone was saying like, "Oh my God, what if he ran for president? I'm going to vote for Andrew Cuomo for president."
Justin, I hadn't seen him. I had totally forgot about him for years and years and years and years. He did something like 5 or 6 years back that I read that got him on my radar again. And then I totally forgot about him. And then when the pandemic happened and he's on there showing everybody how to wash his hands and stuff. And at the beginning, I thought he was entertaining. And then, he started murdering.
Is that what you look for in a governor? To be entertaining?
For me, yeah. I mean, what the hell do I give a fuck? I don't give a shit. As long as they provide some type of entertainment for me. I mean, they don't affect my deal.
I will say if he comes on CNN and him and Chris start shooting the shit about taking pictures up people's skirts and shit like that. I mean, that's what they should do, because CNN has just lost all credibility if they won't even touch this story. I doubt they touch it, because Chris is not going to. He's going to refuse to go on the air if they even mention this story. They're just going to say, look what she was wearing. They're literally going to do everything they say the right does when it comes to what's her name in the Kavanaugh case, and it's just embarrassing.
They have about as much credibility as The View, which is another show you talked about today.
Yes, that was a shout out to how I got that clip. Because Big Steve Robinson tweeted it out.
Oh, there you go. There's a boss. I told you it was his best show in a couple of weeks.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Big Steve Robinson. I just think it's so funny when people think that Jill Biden is some sort of medical doctor.
Like Kirk said, she's sitting there and she's saying she wants to be Surgeon General, and then the person next to her is like, I think she has a doctorate in education. She says, oh, does she? Oh, well, they just spout that show. And oh my God, I know Kirk had a lot of good things to say about my mother a couple weeks ago, but my mother watches that show religiously, and she babysits my kid. I walk in the house, I get the clicker, I just walk over and I shut the TV off. I go, not my fucking house. If you don't fucking like it, go home. That's how it.
The best View segment of probably the past 10 years. I mean, I'm not a huge View person, but was when Donald Trump Jr. came on. Oh, yeah. He talked about that, and they were attacking him, and he was like, "Time out. Here are these facts." That was great. If they did more things like that, other than just sit there and pull things out of their ass,
right?
About how Jill Biden should be Surgeon General of the United States. I know Kirk said it would be crazy for someone to name their wife Surgeon General, but then you think back to JFK naming what's his face? Attorney General.
That was a great statement today when you said I'm a huge first lady guy. I was like, wow.
Huge first lady guy.
I learned something different every day about you.
You didn't know you didn't know I'm pretty open about being a huge first lady.
I know you're a fan of what's her name? Barbara Bush?
Barbara Bush, Barbara Bush. Huge fan. I'm probably the biggest fan of Barbara Bush in the state of Massachusetts.
Oh, that's great.
That's just a fact. I can't claim countrywide because boy, she's got some fucking howlers down there in Texas. She's big down in Texas.
That's why I can't. Steve is going to be so excited if this case takes him to Texas. He's going to be all gunned up. He's going to be loaded to the teeth with guns, with the American flag stuff. He's going to be in heaven down in Texas.
And another interesting thing was Kirk said that coronavirus isn't quote unquote a thing in South Carolina right now.
Nope.
I mean, there's no one's wearing a mask. He said he's still going to be wearing his mask, doing his thing that Dr. Fauci says and everything like that. But he said bars are packed, restaurants are packed, everything's open to the brim.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting, and I brought it up, the Dave Portnoy stuff from over the weekend, where he said he's donating $500,000 to help try to save restaurants in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I love that idea. I think that's great. But when you look at it, that's going to end up being a drop in the bucket. That might be able to be enough for 5 restaurants to keep their doors open.
Yeah.
Especially if they're told that they can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the restaurant industry, and I've been for the last year. And it's restaurant after restaurant, week after week. I mean, people closing, they can't do it. They can't do it, especially now that the winter's coming in New England. You can't eat outdoors anymore. I mean,
mm-hmm.
where are these people going to go? And then they just did the thing where you can't have seats on a lot of the sidewalks on a lot of the cities.
Yep.
They ban the sidewalks. So I mean, what are they supposed to do? I mean, there's not going to be, when this thing's over, there's going to be nothing left. It's going to be tough for a lot of business. to open.
And another big thing is a lot of people are just like, oh, we'll just get takeout, which is great because it helps the restaurant. But these waiters and waitresses and busboys, that people that rely on people actually coming into the restaurant and serving, work for tips. If a waiter or waitress is only doing 50% of what they normally get, that's not a lot.
Right.
They work on pretty much tips and commission and shit like that. But it's not looking good. So it was nice to see Prez, step in, try to do something. I know he's big into the restaurant industry with his pizza reviews and all that stuff, but I'm just not entirely sure how much they'll raise and exactly how much they need to raise in order to keep all these restaurants open. Because you hear the rent of some of these places is astronomical, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's terrible.
Terrible.
But it's if anyone can do it, Prez can. Prez is the second best person at raising money for good causes.
I'm surprised he might throw his hat in the ring in 2024. I mean, why not? I don't understand. If AOC can be a politician with a little information, like I said, I'm not political, so I go both ways. If she can throw her hat into a ring, he can. I mean, why the hell not? He's probably got more. He's got more people behind him than she does. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Why not? Donald Trump could do it. Why the hell can't he?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Jesus Christ, would people go after him for? They already go after him for everything he said in the past, but
everything just falls right off his back. That's why he's Trump like that. That everything, like Kirk says, everything just slides right off his back. Like he's been saying it since the beginning, just slides right off his back, and he's like that too.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to end it. End today's show. If there's anything else you wanted to bring up, I just wanted to mention you did say I'm a big first lady guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you showing? It looks like you're.
This is a new. Let's see. I'm trying to get it in the middle. There we go. This is a new thing every week. If I'm going to be on, we'll do the condescending cunt count. So we'll do it. I'll do it by show because I only had one show to do it since we were on the last time. So Steve had 9 condescending cunt remarks in the very little that he was on air on Friday with Wit, which was a great episode. One with Wit. Oh, man, he's phenomenal. He's just the type of guy. He's all my buddies. He feels like when you have an interview with him, you just feel like you're sitting there drinking a beer, like just shooting the shit. Like that's the way he makes like you feel. But Steve's, I would say, and then we'll do the condescending cunt comment of the week. And like I'll have you pull up some audio. But this week, I think the condescending cunt comment wasn't even meant to be a condescending cunt comment. I think it was supposed to be it wasn't supposed to be an insult when he said that Dave Cullinane was like a golden retriever, because like golden retrievers are the best dogs. They're very loyal. But the way that Steve said it in Steve's condescending cunt way, he made it sound like it was an insult. And that's why it's like everything Steve says is like tainted with the cuntness. Like it's like cunt taint, like fucking all over his comments. So
I've had 2 Goldens in my life, and they're the happiest dogs.
That's what I mean. I don't know, but the way he said it was like, wait a minute, Steve, did you just make me like not like golden retrievers? Or like, was I supposed to not feel about that? What was that supposed to be? So we'll do that every week because
So I had I banged out a top 5 list on today's show. It's pretty quick. It was much quicker than my previous list. I'm proud of that. I stand by that list. A lot of people talking about Lady Bird Johnson and going back and forth with that. So I'm going to leave everyone with a prank phone call from the Howard Stern Show days of Lady Bird Johnson.
Nice.
Back with the Jack and Rod Show. I'm Jack Mapper. I'm Rod Stippington. And today, Rod, we have a special show. Today is First Lady Friday. All right. And on the phone, we have Feather Schwartz Foster. She happens to be the author of Ladies, A Conjecture of Personalities. Let's say hello to Feathers. Feathers, how you doing?
Hi.
Rod, would you mind telling fellas the very special guest we have on the phone?
We have an extra special guest. We've been working on getting her for a while. Special guest, please go ahead and say hi to Feather.
Hi, Feather. Hi, how are you?
Do you recognize the voice?
Well, it's a southern lady, I'm sure.
The special guest, do you want to say your name?
I'm Lady Bird Johnson.
Let's hear it for Lady Bird Johnson.
All right.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Mrs. Johnson, I am thrilled to be on a show with you. You know, I liked Jimmy Carter's Big Peanuts. That's very nice, too. Yes, it was. Lovely.
Tell me about your book, Feathers.
My book is called Ladies, A Conjecture of
Don't
Life.
call me lady, call me whore.
Well, the book is available on, you can get it on
Yes. Yes.
I talk about the president's wives.
You know I took out my teeth to give Jimmy Carter a blowjob?
I'm sure that was quite an experience.
Talk about your book and I'm going to pleasure myself.
Okay, you do that. My book is available on any...
One time I went down on Ronnie Reagan. He was really fucked up on that Alzheimer's.
Oh, we can talk about...
He went on my head. He thought I was the toilet.
Tell her a little bit about what you do sexually, just to make her...
No, I will not.
Well, just to make her feel...
No, I will not.
Why's that?
Because I don't like it. It's embarrassing.
Well, you can use double entendres.
I do not.
You can use like the word box or something.
Babble.
Can you tell her about things you've touched?
Do any of this garbage. Come on now.
It's political sex therapy.
I don't do any
So
of
you-
that kind of stuff.
Sex in the White House is a hot topic right now, though.
But I'm not writing about sex in the White House. I'm writing about the old first lady.
My pussy's dry than a pile of dead leaves. Can I eat your pussy?
You call yourself a first lady? That's not a first lady. You should be ashamed of yourself.